Hey everyone, welcome back to the Green Door, where we discuss Japan of all things and other things. We currently have Julius here. He currently resides in Japan, works in Japan, and also goes to school in Japan. Julius, we would love to know more about you. You want to take it away?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me here. As you just said, my name is Julius, and I'm currently studying abroad here in Japan. And so the place where I'm living at right now is called Shimonoseki, and so it's like in the western part of Japan, in the Yamaguchi prefecture. And so yeah, I'm just right now normal student taking like normal Japanese classes, and like I'm working in a gym right now, and yeah, enjoying my life here. Everything's fine.
Nice. That's a lot. You want to talk about like what it's like um at your school? Like
Mhm.
it must be so different from where you lived before Japan, and
Yeah.
maybe you want to talk about like what brought yourself to Japan, and then also like
Mhm.
how did you get into that school?
Okay, yeah, sure. So the first contact I had with Japan was like basically through animes. So I really loved to watch animes back when I was a kid, like Naruto and One Piece. And then there was a funny thing happening. So like the hometown where I grew up had a sister city partnership with a Japanese town actually, and it's a Naruto city in the Tokushima prefecture. And so since they have this partnership going on, like there was a program aimed for high school students where they would go to like Japan for 2 weeks. And I applied for that program. And so this was the first time when I went to Japan, like 2018. And it was the first time for me being in Asia and in Japan. It was like awesome experience. I was really flashed. And so when on returning to Germany, I definitely wanted to go back to Japan again. And so when I finished high school, like it's a very common thing in Germany, like everybody's going to Australia, doing some working holiday thing and so on. And I also thought about doing something like this. And then it came to me, hey, why just don't go to Japan? And so I searched some things up, and I decided to do some voluntary service in Japan in 2019. And so I worked for 1 year at an old people's home in the Kansai area, like in the near of Osaka. And yeah, this was another great experience. And this was also the point where I really started to learn Japanese seriously. And yeah, it was a great year. And so when I returned to Germany, I was able to have like daily conversations, was able to read some mangas and so on. However, like I wanted to still wanted to get more, like I wanted to learn more. And I thought about how can I combine this passion, like because I really love Japanese. I just love everything about this language. How can I combine my passion with my career? And so like upon doing some research, there was like a major that combined like the study of economics and like Japanese studies about the culture and the language and so on. And so I enrolled in that university in Germany. And so they have a partner program. Like you go to the university for 4 years. Like normally you would just do 3 years for this specific major in Germany. However, like they have 1 year of studying abroad, like it's part of the curriculum. And via this 1 year abroad program, I'm right now here in Shimonoseki in Japan. And so I had to apply. Like we have like I think over 12 different partner schools here all over in Japan. And so you had to like submit your wishes, and then like your teachers would decide where they would send you, like depending on your grades, on your Japanese level, and some other factors. Yeah.
Very cool.
And this is,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how many classes are you taking right now then?
So right now per week, I'm taking 9 classes, like 90 minutes each.
Oh, okay. For the school, is it like based on like a quarterly system, or is it like semester system where
Mhm.
like how many months do you have to take that class for?
It's a semester system. So
Okay.
like basically classes in Japan are separated into like the spring semester and the fall semester. And so you will take classes for like 3 or 4 months. Three or 4 months, yeah, basically the same
Oh.
classes.
So you have to be very committed to taking that class if you're enrolled for it.
Yeah, exactly. And so, right, and so since we're just exchange students, we have some kind of like a special status because normally, like if you're in the second year, you are supposed to take like second year's classes. And especially since we are not Japanese native speakers, like there are classes aimed for us exchange students where you like learn Japanese, like like a basic like foreign language lessons everybody had at high school. It's basically the same. However, like if you already have like taken the JLPT, like this Japanese language proficiency exam or so, you can basically just choose freely the classes you want. Like in my case, I don't have to take these Japanese classes anymore. I can take every class I want to. And so I just like created my own schedule based on my preferences.
Wow, that's a major tip right there. So you're saying that as long as you have the JLPT, or you have the full flexibility to take whatever class you want.
Yeah, but in a like in addition, it depends also on the level you took for the JLPT. So because like the classes aimed for Japanese learners here at our university are around N3, N2 level. So even if you did take the N2 level of the JLPT, there may be the possibility, okay, then please still continue to take the Japanese classes. Like it's completely possible.
Got it. Is that based on when you're trying to enroll the class, like will it have that information for you? Or is this something like based on the professor? If you try to enrolling the class, then they'll have to like kind of background check you. Is that a thing or?
Mhm. Yeah, so before coming here, like we had to apply, like we had to submit a lot of things to the university, and they also asked whether if we have like some kind of like certificate of our language proficiency, and like at that moment when you submit like this JLPT degree, then they see like okay, so he doesn't have to take this class, or okay, maybe she should be taking this class and so on. So I think at that moment it already has been decided.
Ah, very cool. That's so nice. So study of Japanese if you're trying to try to take whatever class you want.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
and in the beginning, like you also asked me, like there must be like great differences when compared to like studying things in Germany. And so one big thing I really was surprised about is that in Japan, like I think everybody has this very strict image of like the Japanese just studying all day long. They don't have free time. They live for the school. And to a certain degree, that's true. However, like if you enter the university, then you can just chill. Like graduating from high school and getting into the university is like really tough. And they really have to like learn 3 or 4 months in advance, studying every day for 6 hours or so. However, like if they manage to get into the university they wanted to go, then they just can chill and relax. Like there's even a saying, Japanese saying, that the time you spend at the university is the summer vacation of your life.
Very
And
cool.
yeah, and so the reason why that is like because like in high school, like how can I say that? Like in high school, only your score matters. And so like when you go to the university, like they want you to develop your like social skills, like you join a club, learn how to like perform in a team and so on, so that when you like enter the company, they have staff who can like function in a company, but also have like the social skills to work in a team. Because like this whole society, like working as a whole, as a unit in Japan is a very big thing.
Wow. That's definitely different. Like I would say actually it's somewhat similar to well, actually it's not similar at all to America, but as far as like going to school pretty much throughout all 7 days of the week almost all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you graduate out of high school, like grade school, high school in America is like nothing. A lot of people don't take it seriously. and that's where things get harder in life. But let's
Mhm.
just say like I have the focus of already graduating high school. I want to go to college and university. I already graduated out of a university, but just from my experience here in America, I did go to a community college first and then
Mhm.
transferred to the university. And community college was so hard, so hard.
Okay.
The level of assignments and um the difficulty. Maybe it was just like building the the tolerance of
Mhm.
what I could be capable of and like what my knowledge is and like how am I understanding the curriculum. But
Mhm.
when I did transfer to university, it did feel like the level of difficulty did drop a couple levels though.
Mhm.
Um, I was definitely learning a lot, but maybe it wasn't like the experience what I was looking for, where it was a more real world experience.
Mhm.
But I think that's kind of general for pretty much for any university.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I did have a sense that you know university is just a couple levels down as far as difficulty.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, like in Germany, like when you graduate high school, like you have like exams at the end of your high school years, and they're very tough. Like you take like they last 6 hours or so, 4 to 6 hours in some cases. It's really tough. You really have to learn a lot. And then when you get into university, you'll be thinking like, okay, now everything gets a little bit more easier. It just keeps going at that pace. Like university is very tough in Germany. And so when I just then came here and I like took Japanese class for the first time, and I just looked around me, and so everybody was just like looking on their phone or sleeping or so. And like the
Yeah.
exams at the end of semesters, most of the cases they're just multiple choice tests, which are really easy to answer,
Mhm.
or like just write. And even if you have to write about something, in most cases it's just like, yeah, just write 200 words about this or this. Like it's you have so much, I don't know,
200
you
words?
have no limits. Yeah, just 200 words or so. I was so surprised. Oh, that's easy, you know?
Wow. That's yeah. I mean, it's crazy how every country is so different as far as like
Yeah,
how they teach. Yeah, but I think in the whole spectrum of it is like we're learning, but it's just different methods.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What is like? So I know I understand that you did live in Japan multiple times, but this
Hmm.
one is like your longest duration. Um, but I guess like since this is like your longer commitment, since you're at school and everything, but when you first like landed,
Hmm.
for you moving long term, right? What was what was one thing you wished you knew before moving for a long term?
Mm, well, to be honest, um, if there was one thing, then maybe it would have been how to effectively learn a language, or in my case, learn Japanese. Because it took me some months to find my own path, like to find my own study routine, how to really effectively like learn Japanese. And if I had known everything from the beginning, I guess my experience would have become much more better. However, like I don't want to think like that in that way, like because like when came to Japan the first time, like everything was new to me. I just wanted to be like open-minded. Okay, I'm just gonna enjoy everything to the fullest, do take as many experiences as I can along the way, and
Yeah.
I don't want to, yeah, you know, listen, I don't
Yeah,
want to
definitely.
regret
So,
anything.
yeah, no regrets. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like now that you're there, your fluency is top. You're working at a Japanese company. Um, that's all amazing. So kudos to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Although
definitely.
it's basically just a part-time job, so I'm not like, yeah, not working in a like 40 hours a week or so, just part-time job.
Yeah, but still, you are immersing yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people who are there, like aspire to be like that too.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe I can give those people some inspiration, some motivation.
yes, yeah, no, exactly, and that's kind of like why we're here too. Um, was there any as far as like preparation like when you did move to Japan. So like,
Mhm.
but for me, right, what I would understand is like, okay, I'll already have like an apartment lined up. I'll have
Mhm.
um I'll know where to get my keys. It's just like kind of like finding all of like the like furniture or like microwave, all the little
Mhm.
essentials and such. I guess how did you prepare yourself? Was there any like difficulties at all around that?
Okay, so so there were two occasions, like right now, where I'm living in Japan for 1 year, and like 5 years ago when I did my voluntary service, and this was also like for a prolonged time. And so 5 years ago, like I joined like a company or an organization who organizes these voluntary service things, and they provided me with everything. So I didn't have like there was no need to buy any like furniture or like tableware or something like this. And at that time, like we were supposed to like join Japanese classes that were offered in my hometown, and I visited these classes. However, like these were like classes that where everybody could participate. So I was just like then sitting there with like 50 years old or 60 years old together in one room, and we would like learn konnichiwa every week.
I see.
Yeah, like because everybody has a different like everybody learns at a different pace, and so it was a bit difficult, I think, for the teacher to like create a plan aimed for each and everyone's needs. And so like took these classes for like 10 weeks or so. However,
Yeah.
at the end, I just knew konnichiwa, sumimasen, arigato. And with these three words, I went to Japan the first time. Yeah. And so this time right now, like the university provided us with a very nice apartment. And so that was really nice. However, like the furnitures were there. However, like anything besides that, we had to buy ourselves. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So is that considered as a condo or
Yeah.
or a dorm? Sorry, I mean a dorm.
Not really. Like so, because we have our own apartment, we have our own
Okay.
like dishwasher, washing machine, our own kitchen. We don't have to share anything with anyone.
Okay.
And so I heard from other students in my year, like they are like currently studying in other places in Japan. Some of them live in a dormitory, some of them really in a share house or so. So it depends on the university you're going to.
I see. Okay, so I guess accommodations are different then. Wherever
Yeah,
you go, and that makes sense.
exactly.
I see. Was there what was it like when you got the acceptance letter for that university?
Uh, that's a funny story actually, because we were supposed to like submit three wishes, like three universities where we want to go. And out of all these three wishes, the university where I'm currently studying at was the third place.
Oh.
Yeah. So because since I already had been living in Kansai for 1 year, and I really wanted to return there because like I already knew so many people there, and I really loved like the area and the spirit of people there. And so we had two universities in Osaka and Kyoto. And so the one in Osaka was my first choice, the one in Kyoto my second. And however, I ended up here in Shimonoseki, Yamaguchi. And so at that time when I got the acceptance letter, I already knew, like because the ones who would go to the one in Kyoto and Osaka, they already got their acceptance letter. And so at that time, I hadn't received it. So I was like, aha, okay, that didn't work out. And so I already knew in advance that I would be going to the one like the Shimonoseki City University. And so I wasn't like, oh man, I wasn't like disappointed or so. But like I was like, maybe it would have been much more better if I like would have gotten the chance to go to Kansai or like Kyoto. But however, like upon living here, I really started to like the place and the people around here. And so in hindsight, I think every choice would have been a good choice.
As long as it's Japan.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
So because the cool thing, like here in Shimonoseki, it's really the countryside. Like I don't see any foreigners here from
Okay.
like Yoruba or from Europe or America. Like the only foreigners you see here are like Asians, like Chinese, Korean, or Vietnamese people.
Mhm.
And so like if you as a white foreigner walks down the streets, you will get the looks. Was a very interesting experience. However, like the cool part about living here is that like, for example, Fukuoka, like a very big city, is like very near. So you can get there within 1 hour with the trains. And so that's really nice. And you're directly near to the sea. And the airport, like the Fukuoka airport, is also really near. So you can basically go everywhere in hours. That's really good.
So yeah, very convenient. It sounds like
Mm-hmm.
there's would you consider any challenges that you faced other than like adapting in your
Mm-hmm.
area?
Well, so I would say like because it's right now it's the first time studying actually in Japanese in a university. And so like taking economic classes, like currently I'm taking accounting or law, law classes and so on. And like doing this in Japanese, like in the first weeks, I had to learn all these like very specialized vocabulary and like writing essays also. Like it wasn't really a thing I was used to do. So it took me much more time than, for example, a Japanese person, obviously. However, like I would consider these as the first challenges in the beginning. And then when I started to work at the gym where I'm working right now, like learning Japanese, watch in order to be able to comprehend animes or just like studying something or just be able to talk with your friends and then use Japanese at your workplace are still two very different things. And I would say this was a very interesting experience. And yeah, it definitely helped with my fluency of my Japanese because like every time I work there, it's basically just immersion and speaking practice. And yeah, so also like learning this vocabulary at the workplace and having just like this constant practice and yeah, the pressure that you also have to deliver because like in our gym, like my senpais or my coworkers, they are very strict on like using the honorific language. And so when like normally, if I talk to Japanese person, I was just like the des mas form, or I don't know, if I'm good with them, I just go with the casual form. However, like in our gym, like we treat our customers very well. Like they are like in Japanese, there's a proverb like that the customer is a god. And like according to this, we really treat them like a god in that sense. And so like when talking to a customer, you constantly have to remind yourself, oh, I have to use honorific language. And this was in the beginning very tough.
I see. Yeah, I could imagine that being a challenge. There's the formal, business, casual,
Yeah, exactly.
always have to be top of mind when it comes to face-to-face conversations. What's a piece of advice you would give someone who wants to, live and work in Japan? I know um,
Mhm.
there's multiple things other than the language itself, but that is kind of the number one priority to things. Is there anything more that you would want to add on to that for advice?
Okay, so at that point, I would like to give two pieces of advice. And the first one we talked already about, like, is really please learn the language. And like try to learn the language as much as possible before coming here the first time. It will make things so much easier in inside. And the second one is that when it's a cultural thing, I think. Like when you converse with Japanese people, like there are many, like from the younger generation, there are already many Japanese people who can speak English very well, so that you can just have easy conversations with them. However, like there's always this cultural aspect behind that they have a different way of communicating. So like Japanese people, I know it's some kind of like stereotype, but to a certain degree it's true. Like if they, I don't know, you propose something and they don't want to do it really, but on the other hand, they also don't want to, like, they want to be polite and don't want to hurt your feelings. They will just like, oh yeah, let's do it like this, and then they will just ghost you. Or they will find ways to, I don't know, to express a certain thought without actually expressing it, if you know what I mean. And so this is a very like in the beginning, I think it can be really tough to really understand what the meaning. However, like it's just deep rooted in their culture. And so there are some what can I say? Like there are some barriers, and when you like as a mental preparation, if you know about them, then it's much more easier to like deal with them, I would say.
I agree. Yeah, it is definitely a cultural thing too. And you never know if, for example, if you are speaking in literal terms, that person will take that very seriously without you even knowing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely learning the language, learning the culture, understanding it. Yeah, key points for sure.
Can I give an example for the cultural thing?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so this is like when I worked at the old people's home, like I worked at the daycare service facility, and so behind next to the kitchen, there was like a corner where we had like instant coffee and tea and little snacks and so on, everything prepared like very neatly right in this corner. And so at that point, my Japanese wasn't really that good, so I could understand, like I could talk what I did on the weekend and so on. But like for more complex information or for more complex topics, my Japanese wasn't sufficient at all. And so like we had this corner with all like these instant things and stuff, and like in the morning, like my colleagues would go out and pick up the seniors and bring them to us. And in that time, I was just supposed to prepare the room and like, prepare some tea and so on. And that time, I suddenly just like took an instant coffee or so, because like from my understanding, like everybody had access to it. So I was like, yeah, it's no problem when I take that.
Right.
And
it's there.
And then at 2 or 3 months, I think my colleagues started to notice that. And then one of my colleagues came to me, and he didn't say like you are not allowed to take this or so. He was just like, hey Julius, I know like if you're hungry or if you want to drink something, you can always like go to the cafeteria next door. They prepare so many good drinks and so on. And at that point, I was like, yeah, I already know that. Why are you telling me that? However, then 1 or 2 days later, I realized, oh, he didn't want to be that directly and say like, no, you're not allowed to do that. Please don't do that. He wanted to rather like present me the possibility there is also the cafeteria, so you don't have to take these instant coffees here right now.
Oh my gosh. It almost comes off as like passive aggressive.
Yeah. Like in that case, like I was really good with him. So I think it was okay in that sense.
Okay.
However, like this was like really, oh shit. I still have to learn a lot about the way they are communicating.
Right. Exactly. And there's one thing too, like on top of that, like we're like communicating too, is comedy. Like comedy in America or maybe Europe could be coming off so differently versus Japan. Earlier I did say like people come across in literal terms. So like if you're saying like, oh, why did the chicken cross the road? Or like the chicken died from something. They'll be like, why did the chicken die? Like they'll be super direct and be like, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So, I think Japanese humor is so much more different versus Western humor.
Yeah. And one thing I realized is that, like for example, in Germany or in England or in America, like we really like our sarcastic jokes, right? We all love sarcasm. The Japanese don't understand sarcasm. They don't have it.
Oh.
And so when I worked when I still worked at my old people's home, I can't remember really what it was, but we were talking about something I do in my free time, and they were like, "Yeah, you're so great, and oh, you can do that so well." I was like, "Yeah, I'm the best," like as a joke, you know. And they really looked at me like, "Did you really just say that? Huh?"
Like you know how like people are like "ine" or like
Yeah,
"sugoi." Like I mean,
yeah,
you have like the expression level too, but it's like you can't add sarcasm to that. Like
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think it's just like elaborating versus
Mhm.
like just blindly making it a joke. Like
Yeah,
blindly as in like, oh, why is he saying it like that? Or like saying,
yeah.
oh shoot, yeah. And I do want to go eventually, just check out a comedy show in Japan,
Mhm.
just to see what it's like. Have you ever been to like a concert or comedy show or any sort of network
Uh,
show?
yeah. So I haven't visited a comedy show. I just saw some like reels or clips on TikTok where they like just took some scenes from a show and so on. And yeah. So if you ever want to go to a comedy show, make sure it's a show from people from Kansai because like most of the comedians they come from Kansai.
Oh,
And yeah, how about like I visited like this year, February, I visited a concert, a live show of a hip hop group.
mm. Do you want to talk about the hip hop group?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I would love to know more.
Um, yeah, so in the background I have like a towel, a goods of them. I bought
Oh,
yeah, so it's a hip hop group
forever.
called Bad Hop. Like it's a hip hop group called Bad Hop. And yeah, they just had a live show at the Tokyo Dome, like the
Mm.
biggest stage in Japan. And so like it was completely sold out. It was like 55,000 people. That was that was nice. It was a really nice experience. However, like what I realized is that like yeah, so it was crazy. However, like if you think about like going to a live show in I don't know in America and Europe, you would imagine like people are like going crazy and like especially in the hip hop show they were like going like
Oh yeah.
like doing this and so on and like going with the sound and so on. And then I was there at the Tokyo Dome with over 50,000 people. And like
Good
the performance was really the performance was crazy. Like the performance of the artist was really, really good. And like everybody was standing, and I at that point I expected everybody to be like screaming, singing along, like just doing crazy stuff and so on.
Yeah.
Like they would just be like standing there and if there were some people who did something, they would just
Oh no, no enthusiasm.
like like no enthusiasm or emotion behind. It was like, oh, okay, that was interesting.
Yeah, I wonder like what's also going on through their head because like I mean either like, they're like super in the moment where they don't have the
Mm,
energy to do it, or maybe it's just I mean it could be part of the culture too. I'm not sure.
mm,
It could just be like the music culture there. I mean I've seen
mm.
yeah, like I guess I did go to Ultra Japan in
Okay.
20 was it 2018, and that was the most fun I had out of like a EDM festival ever. There was a Zed was also like one of the main headliners too.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
There was Afrojack and Cash Cash
Oh.
and some other a bunch of other artists too. But towards the end, Zed was the last performer, and it was a typhoon that crashed through the
Mhm.
whole venue in Odaiba City, by the way.
Okay.
So,
Oh, okay.
it was the park that's used for the venue usually,
Mhm.
but it was just a typhoon coming. It was just drenching down rain. I have this crazy video of this the moment where uh you see the raindrops and the lights go through. Just so it had this like illuminating effect. It was
Mhm.
so it was magical. But there was at least like an inch of rain like puddling on my feet, and it was just
Mhm.
like a mini river coming down. So like the water was like brushing
Oh,
on the back of
yeah.
my feet, and it was just like oh,
Yeah.
I was having a good time. Yeah, but
Yeah.
everyone did dance differently versus like how they would like in America, where it would be a lot of head banging, a lot of like arms in the
Uh,
air, like
uh,
um raging. But no, I mean everyone was just just vibing. It was
mhm.
different. But it doesn't mean that they were not having a good time. I'm sure they're having a one heck of a time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Um, speaking of like um, you know, going out and such,
Mhm.
like living in Japan, did you pick up any new hobbies, or were you able to continue on your hobbies like if you were in Germany?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say I picked up new hobbies. I'm just continuing my hobbies right now. So like I like to read books, um listen to hip hop, hit the gym. I'm still watching anime. And so I think I would say the only thing that has changed is that I am now pursuing my hobbies in three different languages when compared to like just in German and English. So like right now I'm listening to Japanese hip hop, read books in Japanese,
Yeah.
and yeah. So I just added another language setting, so to speak. Yeah. I don't know if you have made the same experience. But like in my case, so like German is my mother tongue, and so English is my second language, and Japanese my third language. And so I realized that the better my Japanese gets, the worse my English and my German gets. And for example, when we are just talking in English, there were some moments like where I fumbled like for some words. Like it was at the tip of my tongue, but like the Japanese expression came out quicker, you know? Or like for example when I'm speaking in I don't know, in German, then I'm much more likely to use English words. So like every time I switch the languages, um, for like speaking German, I sometimes I can't find German expressions and I switch to English expressions. When speaking English, I sometimes can't find the English expression and I switch to Japanese expressions. So it's very like everything's like becoming mixed up, getting mixed up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, speaking those three different languages definitely have different expressions for sure, and especially
Mm.
Korean and Japanese. Korean's more like deeper a little bit,
Yeah.
and Japanese is more high, like high pitch. You know. So
Yeah.
I did visit family in Korea last spring, and my fiance was with me too. And I
Mhm.
don't really use a lot of Korean even at home. Like I can
Okay.
understand it so much more better than speaking it. But
Mhm.
when I was there in Korea and like with my family, I was like, I was starting to pick things up a lot faster because um, I think it was just more of being there and
Mhm.
maybe just like deja vu almost. But
Mhm.
just having um, but that was my layover though. So like when I was in Japan, I think I did like pick up a lot more higher pitch. But then
Mhm.
when we did land in Korea and I had my fiance like listen on the conversation, it was like deeper. So it was like probably like a light switch, just
Yeah,
so
definitely.
um yeah, I agree. Different expressions for all languages, and I think whatever like and speaking English is just like a casual, like maybe there's like a midpoint between like those two other languages
Yeah,
for me. So it's
definitely.
like okay, maybe that's the middle point. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I can literally say the same thing because like the Japanese language is very high pitched and like due to this nature, like if you like switch to another language, your personality also changes a little bit. And so right now I have a Japanese girlfriend, and I can remember the first time she heard me speaking German, she was like, "Your voice is so deep." Well, huh? What? Why? You're just a different person, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's um definitely yeah. You can pull out a different personality with a different language too.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, I forgot to ask you.
Yeah.
I guess like with the total amount of time of like, uh, of knowing Japanese, like I guess from now versus like the first time, like what's the like the time span of you learning Japanese?
So I started learning Japanese seriously in 2019, around May and June 2019, and so I'm 5 years in.
5 years in. Amazing. Amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, because in college, I'd say, yeah, it was I took my first Japanese class in 2018 actually.
Mhm.
Um, Funny enough is because I'm actually going back to my original textbooks. Genki.
No, Genki. Yeah, Genki.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like um because I wrote everything like in pencil in my textbooks too.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like going back at this and trying to like relearn the sentence structures too.
Mhm.
Um and that's kind of like where I'm at with it. Um
Mhm.
I'm kind of still I'm already familiarized with like my hiragana and then my katakana. It's just like now it's time for kanji, which I'm not gonna say like I mastered any kanji yet. Maybe just like
Mhm.
a couple, but just because a lot of them are like symbolic as far as like the
Mhm.
art of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's this whole like whole Master Son, the green
Yeah.
door and such. This is for like it's motivating in general, and I'm
Mhm.
just looking forward to like the further down the road journey and to really talk with other people with different experiences too, because it's just
Mhm.
inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. Like learning learning a foreign language is like really kind of like a journey. You're gonna make so much like valuable experiences along the way. Talk to so many people, getting to know a new culture. Like, yeah, I'm. It's one of the best experiences you can make, in my opinion. And like, I can just, yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Like, in my opinion, everybody should be learning a second language at least.
Yeah,
Because like language, you're right. You have like different expressions. You have like also like the culture backwired into everything, and it's just really eyes opening, eye opening. It's really nice.
it is very eye opening. Yeah, with I'm not sure it's like this at your home country, but
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of people who are also like one sided.
Uh-huh.
Where what I mean by that is like they haven't traveled anywhere out of the country.
Oh yeah.
They're just stick in their same small city where they grew up in, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to travel anywhere else outside of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, when conflict does arise, like I don't want to get too political, but just jumping in saying like if someone sees something happening, something completely different that wouldn't happen in their
Mm-hmm.
hometown,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing that for the first time, they're like, "This is not. This is not where the country we live in, or something." So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, um, something I recommend is everyone to travel outside of the country, even outside your own
Mm-hmm.
city, for the first time. Um, it'll open up doors. It'll make your life stress free, eventually.
Yeah, definitely. Like I can remember, um, like I returned to Germany after having lived in Japan for 1 year, and I started to work like I started to work at a supermarket like during Corona times. Like this was one of the few things you could actually do a part-time job at. So I started to work there. And so in our corner, we also had like Asian goods, like soy sauce and so. And I remember like I was working together with a colleague and we like had to um like we got new deliveries and like we all got the seaweed and soy sauce, like everything for the Asian corner. And like I can just remember like my colleague like pulling out this soy sauce and then the seaweed and I was like, sushi with raw fish and seaweed. Oh, that's so disgusting. Ugh. Like who? Like why are there people eating that? And then at the same time, like in Germany, we have a dish. where you have just basically just raw meat, bread, and onions on top of that. And I was like, it's basically the same. Like, why are you so like? I was so mad. Like, why are you?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why are you so disgusted about it? Why can't you just like tolerate that there are other people eating other stuff? Like, I don't know. Maybe for people from other countries, like this thing we have here in Germany with the raw meat and the onions and the bread. This, like, there are other people may be disgusted about it
Delicacy.
as well. Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, just I love Germany, by the way. I used to live there for a couple of years too, and I lived in this like small town in Grafenwehr, and there's one thing I did miss in Germany though was the
Okay.
not just the bread, but the spreadable liver, the Leberwurst.
Ah, yeah.
Because they come in like little. Sometimes they come in little tubes, and then you can like, just cut it open and just like spread it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah, like for example, they have that in Germany versus like you're not liking sushi. Like what?
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but um, yeah, I live in Seattle, Washington. Well, like an hour away from Seattle, but in Washington, it's pretty known for seafood here, and there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Japanese restaurants here, surprisingly too.
Oh, okay.
Japanese restaurants, as in chefs from Japan would move to Washington and
Mm-hmm.
open up their own restaurants.
Oh, okay.
So you can definitely find a good like omakase restaurant if you want to get like
Mm-hmm.
a personal experience, but they do cost so much more versus Japan though. Not gonna lie, it's
Yeah, it's the same in Germany.
yeah, it's kind of sad, but it's just how the market works, I guess.
Yeah, well, but right now, that's actually a good point. Um, so right now, due to the weak yen, living here in Japan, like with foreign currency or like with like um I don't know. So because like in Germany, like I made up some savings and also got like a scholarship, and so having this, bring this to Japan when the yen is so weak, is like
Yeah.
you can you can have good luck. Which obviously has, of course, some like some disadvantages for the Japanese people as well.
Mm.
So the tourist boom, and I don't know, like there's recently have been some news about that, and I also heard like that the Japanese government thinks about like um having having price for Japanese people and price for foreigners. Like they think about introducing such kind of system. So it's really interesting times we're living in right now.
It is. Yeah, they're trying to be more flexible. Like they're in desperate need, but then
Mm.
it's also like um what is the word? But there's I think it's like another issue behind that,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah.
also there's not a lot of babies being born,
Mm.
being
Sure.
made. So, that could be like another part of it. And it's not just Japan, there's Korea and it's pretty much everywhere
Mm.
too, like America, but they're
Yeah.
just not talking about it because there's, for example, the political races happening in America right now, and
Okay.
that's kind of like all eyes around the world too,
Mm.
with the whole Trump and Biden stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's that. Um, oh, I do want to go back on the question of what's your favorite food in Japan?
Favorite food? Um, that's a difficult question because like there are so there are so many like very awesome dishes you have here. However, like if I would have to decide on one, it's Goya champuru. It's a it's Okinawa cuisine. So I
Oh,
really love Okinawa. Yeah, I've been like I think over 10 times or so, and I just love it. So like Goya is a very sour vegetable, and you add some tofu, some scrambled eggs, a little bit of meat, and like with really nice spices, and you just like mix it, cook it. It's awesome. It's really nice.
do you want to explain Goya? I think I know what you're talking about. Um, is it like the super sour like uh is it the plum? No.
Not the plum. Um,
What's the plum
it's
called?
Umeboshi.
Yeah, that's super
Yeah,
sour. But uh,
it's yeah, yeah. So Goya isn't as sour as umeboshi because like just umeboshi is I think like the purest form of sourness you can have. um, yeah, Goya. Like I don't know the English term for it right now. So it looks like a sea cucumber.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it's a little bit not sour. Sorry, I mean bitter. It's
Oh,
bitter.
bitter. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, and yeah. So you have like this bitter sea cucumber um with like the tofu and the meat and some other vegetables, and it's just delicious.
Oh,
Like in
I
general, like
wonder.
Okinawa cuisine is really underrated.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I
like you have goya champuru, you also have like, Okinawa
yeah,
soba,
champuru.
which
You
is
know what's funny? I just had
fucking awesome.
my fiance's dad actually just made champuru the other night too. I didn't get to
Oh
try
really?
it, but he did make it. There's also um another dish that I do like. It's like oyakudon.
Oyakodon?
Um,
Yeah,
that's kind of like one of the things I would get at a menu because like or a restaurant because like you don't that's a cuisine that you don't really find like exactly like um what you said too is like usually in America you'll find like either sushi, katsu,
mm.
or like udon. Fortunately, we
Mm.
have udon here and ramen too.
Oh, yeah,
But it's like you don't get the other cuisine. You don't get the omurice. You don't get
yeah, or
a lot of
sashimi.
we do get sashimi, but the sushi in America is so different.
Yeah,
It's rarely that you can get sashimi though, but if you do go to like a Japanese sushi restaurant, um, you'll find that they'll make it like Americanized. Like they'll have like a crunch roll, they'll put
uh,
spicy mayo smothered all over the top of it of the sushi, and like but it at that point it just becomes art, which I can understand, but it's still
yeah,
not Japanese though.
yeah. So I can remember, like I think I saw it on Twitter or Threads. I think it was a comment on Threads where there was like a person like saying like, yeah, I just ate sushi, Japanese sushi for the first time, but it was so disappointing. I mean, it's just basically just raw fish and rice. And I was like, that's the whole point of sushi.
That's the
And
whole point.
yeah, and so when my girlfriend visited me the first time in Germany, we also like went to a sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
And so like it's really delicious. However, it's like not Japanese sushi because like at this restaurant you have like fried fish inside of the sushi, and on top of that you put like mayonnaise or so,
Oh.
and or cream cheese or whatever.
Oh,
And
cream
like she
cheese.
said like or like you
Yeah.
insert like paprika or so.
Oh.
And like my girlfriend said, yeah, I mean it's delicious, but it's not really like sushi, you know,
Yeah, it's
according to
not
Japanese terms.
Japanese terms. I just you know I, I need to interview a sushi master. Like, well, what is you think of like Americanized sushi? Like, I'll show
Yeah,
him a platter and be like, hey, let me know what you think.
it would be interesting.
That would be interesting. Um, that's super cool. Um, they were coming close to an hour on this.
Yeah.
Do you have oh, Julius, what are your two favorite places in Japan?
I would say my current favorite place out of Japan is Okinawa. Like, I just love the people, the food is nice, and the nature is just amazing. It's beautiful, beautiful landscapes, like like the sea, like emerald green. It's like, whoa, it's amazing.
Dang, yeah, I really would want to check out Okinawa too. I just helped out a friend book out his like 2 week trip to Japan, and
Mhm.
he really wanted to go to Okinawa. So we made sure I helped him put like a small itinerary for a couple of days in
Mhm.
Okinawa too. How many days would you spend there if you went on vacation?
That's tough one. Like good amount would be like 3 to 4 days, because like the capital of Okinawa is Naha, and like this is where you can go partying. Like they have the bars and the clubs, everything, like on a long
Okay.
like
Yeah, the scene out
street.
there too.
Yeah, yeah. And so like I would recommend it if you are into partying or so, spend one day in Naha, go partying, enjoy the nightlife there, and then like the remaining 2 to 3 days, get a like rent a car and just explore the island. Like especially like the northern, like from the main, like Okinawa is separated into several islands, but like the main island, like in the north of the main island, you have like the nature is just amazing, and you can go diving and can do so much cool stuff. I really recommend it.
Yeah, looking on the Google Maps, it shows like the southern part being more of the city, and then like literally like half of the island is just
Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah. It's a national park. Like from the middle of the island to the northern parts, everything is like a national park, and
wow.
it's really nice.
Yeah, that does sound really nice. Awesome. Hey Julius, do you have any outstanding questions about the podcast or for me um or is there anything you would like to wrap this up with?
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to express my gratitude for having me here. Like I really like this concept of the green door, and let me ask you just this: like when you came to Japan for the first time, what was the one thing where you were like, damn, wow, you know, like that really got you?
Oh man. Yeah, the damn wow. That's let me tell you this actually. I've never told you this. So my very first time in Japan was in 2016 in the summertime during college break, and I planned out this it was a 5 week long trip actually for my very first time, by the way.
Wow,
I
that's not.
don't know how I was able to get 5 weeks off, but probably just being as a college student, it was very flexible for my work at the time. But I did a lot of research in Japan. I say in 2016 there wasn't so much hype about it, but there was still like a lot of vloggers talking about Japan and like what you should do, what to expect. And Chris Abroad was kind of like my go-to person.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this video that he has, and I think he talked about the vending machines, talking about the how many people versus how like the ratio of how many people versus vending machines. So it's like almost like a 1-to-1 ratio. Right when I landed in Japan, I saw a vending machine. I took a picture of it and I was like, what is this? It was just like glowing at my face. I was like, what are these drinks? I want to try every single drink.
Yeah, right.
With all the money I just exchanged. So the very first drink I had was Real Gold.
Oh, yeah.
Drink.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I guess it was similar to the Red Bull, but I think it had its own like kind of like flavor profile too. But funny enough, it was just the vending machines that I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay. And then right when I took a step outside, I'm like, okay, everyone's driving in different opposite sides of the road. And I think from that point, it was just like culture shock. It's definitely different from Korea. So
okay. Yeah.
I came blindsided to knowing what Japan really was until like I got there. The videos didn't really help at all. The videos didn't help at all. It was more of just like, okay, I mean, I'll experience it in real life and to really soak it all in. And so
yeah, it's like seeing everything like at the video on YouTube or like experience it at first hand. It's just a different scale. Like
yeah,
you really won't be prepared the first time.
I mean, eventually, like I admire the videos. Like the videos that I watch, it's like I reminisce now It's like,
Hmm.
oh, I was at the ramen shop when I went, and I was like, oh man. And then I there's these 4K Street View videos too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We'll just
I
like
know.
have a 360 camera start walking, and it was so
Hmm.
funny because um there was this one it showed where a family member was living, so I was like, oh shit, that person that walked the street where we walk. I was like, which is like
Hmm.
outside of like Tokyo,
Yeah.
Yokohama, like in
Yeah.
yeah. So but anyways, like yeah, no, I still cherish the videos for sure. It's just different versus like when you do really truly experience it yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Julius, I just want to thank you for the time that we
Hmm.
spent together on this podcast, where we talk Japan of all things and
Yeah.
other things. I appreciate you answering every single question that we had for this. Either it was like in our vulnerable state or just talking away our lives. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was a nice, fun experience. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Julius. Well, all right. This is the wrap up of The Green Door. So stay tuned for next time. And until then, mate ne.
またね。See ya.
See ya.